It is?
Yeah. But I was running around because some of them weren't.
The Battle of the Austins today.
Mmm. As a matter of fact, I'll do them and you start the broadcast.
You want me to?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll switch with you at some point. Actually, no, you do that.
I was about to say,
Yeah, you do that.
okay.
Here. You have a little bit left of that. Just take the shit up there. Just in case.
Bro, we're so idiots.
Not me today. I look good in this fucking pink. I'll tell you what. I look good.
That is true.
So look, I turned this all the way down as well.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
I did everything down in that.
Just do a triple check.
Yep. Just to make sure.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's gonna be a lot of people tuned in tonight.
Yeah, no shit. It's gonna be fucking 8 times the amount.
Literally.
The 12 people that normally watch.
Literally.
What's up?
Hey, the one thing I forgot to mention was they're also in the Legends Club.
Okay.
FaceTime me when you get there, and I'll show you where the remotes are.
All right, I'm walking there now.
All right, sounds good. All right, so flip it around,
Yep.
and then turn to your left.
Yeah.
It's the first drawer. Nope, sorry, the second drawer. And then, wait, what the fuck? Where'd they go? Oh. Okay, do you see on the TVs where there's like a number on each TV?
Yeah.
Not the remote, but the TV.
Yeah.
All right, so each of those corresponds to the next.
Okay.
Then the last thing is go behind the bar
Yeah.
and here, just head back there now and I'll show you. Now, that drawer right there that's propped a little bit to the left. No, sorry, the other side. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You're the man. Text Tyler Schmidt. Did you get a chance to nail that sign in?
Penis. Said it. Hey, red night or RED night?
Either way.
Either one doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Okay,
doesn't matter.
yeah, that was the main.
I would
issue.
say red.
That's what I was gonna do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. What's up, man? Yeah. I'll put some waters in there for you.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I have a media guide or two for you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
They were outdated before we played a game. But I got them to give to people, so.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. How many do you want?
Sorry. 2 would be awesome. I'm still so thank you. Wish I could. I've made a whole one, but I couldn't. Well, not a whole one. I started doing it, but we don't have stats before 2010. And it's just the worst.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the switch. I like to scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. State. We want to help you and your family home, whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
This is Andrew Riceno, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the Switch. I like the Scrabble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
This is Brandon Barker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
How are you, man?
What's going on?
Not a ton. Just kind of hanging. How about you?
You staying pretty busy during this break, weren't you?
Yeah, that's fair to say. But yeah, no, it was certainly less busy, and that's all I can ask for.
Well, yeah.
How about you? How was your last 12 days?
Well, 4 of them were spent in Nashville.
That's fun.
We had our convention there, so
Got it.
really only got to be there for convention, then come home.
Yeah.
Didn't have any time to really see much.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've just taken this week off. My wife had replaced her battery in her pacemaker on Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was just expected.
Yeah.
Those things don't last forever.
That's
But
fair.
she's doing fine.
Good.
The procedure went well, and she's doing great. So all's good.
That's good.
But yeah, I missed this, man. 13 days, that's too long between games.
Way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long. I agree.
Yeah.
No question about it.
So what all you been up to?
Mostly just working, honestly. But I did get a couple days off to hang out a little bit, so not too bad. I can't complain. Can't complain. But yeah, certainly happy to be back here
Oh yeah.
for a short time, but it'll be good.
You guys get this box working during the break?
Which one?
The scoreboard?
Yeah, it was working. Remember, I think we got it to work the last few games before.
Just part of it, because they were still having some issues.
I think it was all working on the very last one, as far as I know.
Because I know Sam was up here kind of frantic on the phone with the guy, and I thought he said they were going to send somebody out during the break.
Oh, then they may have. Honestly, I'm not sure. She kind of took the whole thing over.
Yeah. I know it was frustrating for her up here a couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah, but and then we had the high school championship. That was cool.
I wish I probably knew about it and just forgot. I'd love to have been out here to watch those.
Yeah, it was fun.
It looked like there were some good games.
Yeah, it was good. Looked like it came back.
That's what I heard.
It was crazy. Pretty crazy. But I'm gonna hop on air.
All right, man.
Here
soon. Jim's here, so I'm
bring him
a
up
little bit so he can see what the boss does.
Yeah,
see what that's
definitely.
I'm trying to get him back into this. He's like, I don't know if I know enough to be able to do that.
He'd be just fine.
Oh yeah, he will. All right, man. Hope it's a good game.
Yes, sir. Thanks, my man.
This is Andrew Riceno, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the Switch. I like to scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest class.
you know who the umpires are?
Oh, shoot, no, I don't.
Yeah, neither does anybody else. We want to make. Who do we ask?
I'll have somebody go get it right now.
Okay. Good. Send it out to us, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Please leave your message for 40. Please leave your
Yeah.
Where's my pen? Is it here? I just want to write it down. Make sure. Yep. Thank you.
Hello and welcome inside the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Andrew Banstra alongside Stevie Bowen as we take you in to today's matchup between your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the visiting York Revolution. It's been 13 days since we've seen you right here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Stephen and myself are thrilled thrilled to have you back in the house right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We'll have starting lineups for you in just a moment when we return on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the switch. I like the scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs! Welcome back inside the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network again. Andrew Banstra joined by Stevie Bowen right here live from Regency Furniture Stadium as your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs return from a long but successful road trip to take on the York Revolution. The last time we saw you, the Blue Crabs had a 4-11 record, but an incredible road trip in which Southern Maryland won 7 of their first 8 and went 7-2 on the road trip. Found themselves winning their first 3 series of the entire 2021 season, not to mention moving up to second place in the Atlantic League North Division. It's a good way to start your road trip if you're Southern Maryland. As we give you tonight's starting lineups right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. First game of 2 here at Regency Furniture Stadium this evening. And the starting lineups go as follows. Batting first for the York Revolution, the center fielder, number 1, Darian Sanford. Batting second, the shortstop, number 2, Jan Sanchez. Batting third, the first baseman, number 33, Carlos Castro. In the cleanup spot, the right fielder, number 13, JC Encarnacion. Batting fifth, the DH, number 9, Jack Kenley. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 21, James Harris. Batting seventh for the York Revolution, the third baseman, it's number 20, John Sansone. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 23, Tyler Hill. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 12, Walner Espinal. On the mound for the York Revolution, a right-hander, number 19, Austin Steinfort. Of course, the York Revolution managed by Mark Mason. Now it's time for what you've been waiting for nearly 2 weeks. Hearing your Blue Crabs right here live from Regency Furniture Stadium on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs tied for second place in the Atlantic League North Division with the York Revolution, both teams at 11-13. And your Blue Crabs starting lineup goes as follows. Leading off, the second baseman, number 6, Kent Blackstone. Batting second, the shortstop, number 12, Michael Baca. Batting third, the center fielder, number 8, Zach Collier. In the cleanup spot, the first baseman, number 15, Alex Crosby. Batting fifth, the third baseman, number 7, Josh McAdams. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 17, Joe DeLuca. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 11, Jake Lucci. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 2, Jake Marshall. And batting ninth, the right fielder, number 23, Will Decker. On the mound for your Blue Crabs, a right-hander, number 24, Austin Glorious. And if you missed it, the Blue Crabs have been steaming hot of late. Again, 7-2 on their last road trip. Their record and their season flips 180 degrees, and it couldn't be a better situation for Southern Maryland. As your Blue Crabs have been red hot of late, we'll welcome them onto the field right now, and when we return, it's Blue Crabs baseball time right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the second inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today. Through October of 2021, COVID-19 vaccinations are offered right here at Regency Furniture Stadium. No appointment necessary. Just swing on by and get your COVID-19 vaccination today. Take one for the team, Southern Maryland. Get the vaccine.
This is David Harris, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Andrew Banstra and Stevie Bowen here to take you through tonight's matchup. First game in a doubleheader here this evening. Southern Maryland coming into the contest with an 11-13 record, Stevie, as does the York Revolution. let's just walk a little bit through that last road trip that Southern Maryland had. It was fantastic for the Blue Crabs. They began it with a 4-11 record after they swept the Gastonia Honey Hunters in Gastonia, North Carolina. The Blue Crabs found themselves at 7-11, 7-11, I should say. They then won the series but didn't sweep against the High Point Rockers. They won 2 of 3. They did the same against the York Revolution in York, ending last night. They brought the Revs here back to Waldorf with them, and now a 4-game series that could be pivotal for the entire season, Stevie. We've said that a ton of times this year, but the last times we talked about it, it was because Southern Maryland desperately needed to turn things around. It's a whole new ball game now.
And you said it. This is a very pivotal series here for the Blue Crabs. You talked about it earlier. Both of these teams tied at 11 wins, 13 losses on the season. Tied for second place in the division. Home series win here for the Blue Crabs. Put them in a good spot as they're only 2 games back behind the division-leading Long Island Ducks as well.
You know, I think it goes without saying that the theme for this game, particularly for the starting pitcher for the Blue Crabs, the right-hander, number 24, Austin Glorious, is that if you avoid walking people, you're going to be extremely successful. It's interesting, the Southern Maryland pitching staff has been beyond phenomenal this year when it comes to not walking batters. Glorious, over the course of his career, has found struggles with location. Truly, if it wasn't for his location struggles, he very well could be in the MLB to this day. But he's kept the walks down for the most part this year, Stevie. He walked 2 in his first appearance, 3 in his next. The only time he really ran into trouble was his last start at home, which was back on June the 13th against the Barnstormers. He went 5 innings, allowed 6 runs all earned while walking 6. In fact, in 3 of his 4 starts, he's allowed 1 or less runs this year. So if he keeps the walks down, good things will happen. Glorious with a 0-1 record on the year, a 3.66 ERA. It's going to be an interesting decision for Daryl Thompson and Stan Clyburn, and the decision is going to have to revolve around how long do you leave Austin Glorious in the game. And the reason I asked that question is because the deepest he's gone this year is 5 innings. He's been a reliever throughout the course of his career, but it's only a 7-inning game, and it's a doubleheader. You don't want to use too many relievers, so it'll be real interesting to see just how deep Stan Clyburn lets him work into this game. The first pitch of the contest in there for strike number 1, and we are underway here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Soft liner up the middle. That drops in front of Zach Collier. Darian Sanford. Tons of speed on the base paths to start us off.
You know, you said it, you wonder how long Glorious is going to go in this game. That's one of the big things with these doubleheaders. They're shortened games, but at the same time, you're still playing 14 innings in a day. You don't want to use up too many of your pitchers.
You know, that ball was hit to Zach Collier. We talk about the Blue Crab success on this most recent road trip, and you can't talk about that without centering that conversation around Zach Collier. He was unbelievable in that road trip. Collier currently riding a 9-game hit streak. He went 13 for 30 on the road trip, had a hit in every single game, scored 11 runs in 9 games. OPS well over 1,200. Glorious with a pitch out. Jake Marshall calls for it, but Sanford not going anywhere. Against the Revolution, the Blue Crabs are 2-3 on the young season. Southern Maryland lost both of their games to the Revs earlier in the year, as Sanford looked like he might have gone on this pitch, but he'll stay at home. We talk about those first 2 matchups between these 2 teams. Those were right here in Waldorf back on June 8th and 9th. There was supposed to be another game on the 10th, but it was rained out. That's why we have the doubleheader here today. Sanford clearly a threat on the base paths, and Austin Glorious is paying attention to him, as he should be. Fastball catches the outside corner, 2 balls and a strike to count.
Glorious with a long look into his catcher, Jake Marshall. Jan Sanchez fouls one back into the screen. And let's talk a little bit about just how good Jan Sanchez has been this season. He actually was signed on June 8th, if you remember, right when he got here, right? When they were on their way to Waldorf, he was signed that very day. Sanchez has been fantastic this year. The middle infielder is hitting .389 through 13 games, a .421 on base percentage. Glorious, a long look into Jake Marshall, the pitch. Slider inside, count runs full at 3-2. Mentioned Glorious earlier that he's been a reliever throughout most of his career, but the transition into a starting role has treated him awfully well to this point. Jan Sanchez smacks one to the left side. There's no doubt about that one. Over the mini monster in left field, and the Revs are on top early, 2-0 here at Regency Furniture Stadium.
That was a big blast off the bat of Jan Sanchez. A no-doubter to left. Seen David Harris do that as well for this Blue Crabs team as the York takes a 2-0 lead here in the top of the first.
Speaking of David Harris, he was fantastic on the road trip as well. Southern Maryland had a couple of fantastic comeback wins in that road trip. One of them, matter of fact, both of them sparked by David Harris. He had a 3-run home run and a 6-run ninth inning to come back over the High Point Rockers. He also drove in a pair to start off a 9-run seventh inning again against the Rockers to come back and keep that road trip record fantastic as the first pitch catches the outside corner to J.C. Encarnacion. And, you know, Stevie, it's important to mention that if it wasn't for those 2 hits by Harris and furthermore for those 2 comebacks by the Blue Crabs, Southern Maryland comes back with a 5-4 record on the road trip, which puts them at a 9-15 record on the year, which completely changes the dynamic of the season.
At that point, that would put them back into that last spot in the lineup.
Slider outside corner, swung on and missed by Encarnacion, and that's just what the doctor ordered for Austin Glorious, who records out number 1. Here comes Carlos Castro. I beg your pardon. It was Castro that just struck out Encarnacion at the plate now. The right fielder wears number 13 on the back of his York jersey. Steps out a little bit on that pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike number 1.
And as we saw the last time the Revolution were here at Regency Furniture Stadium, a big thing that these Blue Crabs pitchers need to do is get ahead of the count early. As you can see there, that pitch just missed a little bit low. Still 1-1 on the count.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Southern Maryland, not just from a pitching perspective, from a game perspective as well. It's of the utmost importance that the Blue Crabs get on top early. Southern Maryland this year, when they score first, are 8-6. When their opponents score first, they're 3-7. The big number that I want to look for in both of these games today, Stevie, is how many runs can the Blue Crabs score in each game? As a curveball is swung on and missed. But when we look at the number 4 being our magic number for the evening, in games in which the Blue Crabs have scored 4 or more this year, they're 10-3. When they have scored 3 or less, they're 1-10. So it is of the utmost importance that Southern Maryland score at least 4 runs. Drop third strike, thrown down to first for out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts after the 2-run homer that put the York Revolution on the board early.
And Glorious does a nice job getting back on the mound, really taking charge, as you said, after giving up that big home run. Nice job getting those 2 strikeouts in a row as he's soon to getting out of this top of the first.
That statistic that we just mentioned about being 10-3 when you score 4 or more really speaks to how great this pitching staff has been at holding a lead to this point in the season. Additionally, it shines light on the offensive struggles that the Blue Crabs dealt with earlier in the year, but there were not a ton of offensive struggles to be found on that road trip. We talked about it. Southern Maryland scored 68 runs in their first 8 games of that road trip. Stevie, in their prior 14 games, they only scored 43 runs. So 68 runs in 8 games. The 14 games prior, they scored 43 runs. So a pretty significant difference.
Very streaky, this Blue Crabs lineup, top to bottom. If they're on, they're on. If they're off, you're not going to see very many runs in a game.
Lucci blocking the sun in left field, comes under it and catches for out number 3. A base hit and a homer put the Revs on top. Back-to-back strikeouts and a pop-out get us through the top of the first inning. The Revs on top early, 2-0. We'll be right back right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the second inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today. Through October of 2021, COVID-19 vaccinations are offered right here at Regency Furniture Stadium. No appointment necessary. Just swing on by and get your COVID-19 vaccination today. Take one for the team, Southern Maryland. Get the vaccine.
This is David Harris, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Andrew Banstra and Stevie Bowen here to take you into the bottom of the first inning. Austin Glorious allowed a pair of revolution runs back in the top of the first, both of them coming immediately, both of them coming from a Jan Sanchez home run. He's been on fire this season. This is 14th game played, the batting average sitting right at the 400 mark. Southern Maryland will lead things off with Kent Blackstone, Michael Baca, and Zach Collier. For Collier, Stevie, that's the highest he's been in the lineup all year. I think I speak for both Stevie and myself in saying that we're thrilled to be back here at Regency Furniture Stadium. It was a long 13 days without baseball. As Blackstone, first pitch he sees inside from the tall right-hander. And the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Austin Steinfort on the mound. He gives Blackstone a changeup, swung on and missed to even the count at a ball and a strike.
Steinfort so far this season for the Revolution, he's 1-2 with a 9 ERA on the mound. And his last... As a liner comes right back up the middle to off the bat of Kent Blackstone, and he makes the play for the first out of the inning.
Way to field your position there if you're the right-handed pitcher, Austin Steinfort. We mentioned the right-hander on the mound certainly has some height to him. There's no question about that. How about 6'9", 240 for a starter? Steinfort actually played for the Revolution last year as well. I should say in 2019. First pitch to Michael Baca, misses inside. A ball and no strikes the count. Baca was fantastic, and in fact has been fantastic in his entirety of his time here in Southern Maryland this year. Second pitch from Steinfort misses outside. 2-0 the count.
You know, Andrew, you talk about how Baca's been pretty solid all year for the Blue Crabs. Took him a game or two to get used to this new lineup and this new game for him. But on that last road trip, went 10 for 27 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. as he has really solidified himself in one of the top 2 guys for this Blue Crabs lineup.
There's no question about it. And, no matter where you put him in the lineup, he has been, you're right, one of the best 2 bats in the lineup, the second best, or actually probably the first best, stands on deck right now in Zach Collier. He's a guy that has been fantastic over the last 9 games. The pitching was fantastic for the Blue Crabs as well on the road trip, as Baca hits one hard to the left side, has some good distance, but well foul. And it's hard to talk about the excellence Southern Maryland has seen lately, especially when it comes to pitching, without mentioning the name Mike Devine. The Atlantic League leader in strikeouts as Michael Baca strikes out for out number 2. That gives way to the aforementioned Zach Collier. Collier was unbelievable on the road trip, currently riding a 9-game hit streak. Stevie, Zach Collier only hits 160 at home this year, but how about 310 as a whole? He has been unbelievable.
That's another one of these guys that took him a little bit to get into this new season after taking that year off. As you see, Zach Collier, not the biggest of players, normally not someone you see in this 3-hole, but he's been known to put it out of here a couple times.
Not to mention a couple of Blue Crabs unavailable to play this evening. Get to that in a little bit more detail later. Collier on the road this year hitting .391 as compared to his near 150 average here at home. But, you said it, the tides have certainly turned for the left-handed hitting California native Collier. Out on the picnic deck right now, more than 80 fans are enjoying an all-you-can-eat crab feast. Steinford misses high with the pitch, and one thing that's certainly worth mentioning about Collier is that he is no stranger to working at bats as far as he can milk them.
That guy up there, absolutely great eye at the plate. As you see, draws the 4-pitch walk there as he's in for that first base runner for the Blue Crabs.
Collier on the season enters play with a .438 on base percentage. Unbelievable. That gives way to Alex Crosby, his first time in the cleanup spot this year, and deservingly so. Collier and Crosby were both fantastic on the road trip. They were the 2 that night in and night out were big-time players. In fact, Crosby, just like Collier, is riding a 9-game hit streak. Steinford offers the first pitch that misses outside. Make that catches the outside corner. 0-1 the count.
And Crosby, 14 for 33 in that road trip. He's batting .315 on the year so far with 8 RBIs to his name. And you said it, Andrew, a good guy to have in this 4 spot for the Blue Crabs lineup.
It's generally right around this time of the season that you find out which guys that began the season in maybe a complementary role, like Crosby did, have firmly supplanted themselves in the starting lineup, and if he's not there, he's close. Just like Collier, came out of the gates a little bit slow, but hasn't looked back since. He has been unbelievable. Crosby this season against the Revolution, 4 for 11 in a total of 4 games. He went 1 for 3 and walked last night in York. Steinford's pitch swung on and fouled to the left side. Looks like Collier went on the pitch.
Yeah, looked to be a hit-and-run situation here with 2 outs. As now, we talked about that Revolution lineup able to get 2 runs in the top of the first. The Blue Crabs just looking to chip away now.
Crosby a deep breath before he takes his spot back in the left-handed batter's box. Southern Maryland still looking for their first hit on the evening as Steinford takes the look over to first. Here comes the pitch. Well struck again to the left side, a little bit closer to fair territory, but still well foul. 2 or 3 more of those and we might see a home run.
At this point, Blue Crabs are getting good contact on the ball, just unable to put it in fair territory.
Steinfurt, certainly not a guy that's going to beat you with his velocity. Additionally, he struggles a lot with his command. In 16 innings this season, he has walked 22 batters. He has a 2.19 walks plus hits per innings pitched. He doesn't allow all that many hits, in fact. It's really just the walks that kill him as Collier goes on the pitch. Looks like he thought it might have been ball 4, but he'll take second nonetheless. And if you're the Blue Crabs, you'll take that and run with it.
Exactly. You can take what you can get at this point because now, for one of your better hitters in this lineup, you have a runner in scoring position.
Of course, it's early in the season, but a 2.19 whip is astronomical, especially considering the fact that the right-hander Steinfurt is only letting opponents hit with a batting average of 210 against him. So it's a lot of free passes. A chopper up the middle. Second baseman comes to it. Espinal fires to first just in time. Crosby retired to get us out of the first inning of baseball. Southern Maryland leaves one on base. It was Zach Collier who reached on a walk. 2-0 the score. Revs on top as we take you in to the top of the second inning right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the second inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today. Through October of 2021, COVID-19 vaccinations are offered right here at Regency Furniture Stadium. No appointment necessary. Just swing on by and get your COVID-19 vaccination today. Take one for the team, Southern Maryland. Get the vaccine.
This is David Harris, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We've seen 2 hits so far in this game, both of them off the bats of the first 2 batters in this contest. To lead us off back in that top of the first inning, Darian Sanford singled up the middle. Jan Sanchez homered in 2 runs. And that's how we get here into this top of the second inning. First pitch from Austin Glorious misses outside. Just like the count 1-0. Talked about it as of the utmost importance for any pitcher, but especially this Southern Maryland pitching staff to work ahead in counts against batters as first pitch, make that second pitch also misses inside. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0 on its way from Glorious. The pitch just a touch inside. 3-0 the count.
3-0 the count now to Harris, who's batting just 143 so far since he was signed on June 22nd by the Revolution.
3-0 inside once more, and a 4-pitch walk gets us started here in the second inning. Southern Maryland and the York Revolution tied in second place in the Atlantic League North Division. In fact, the winner of Game 1 will move into sole possession of second place. Healthy lead at first by Harris. The pitch from Glorious Catches the outside corner for strike number 1 to John Sansone. The third baseman wears number 20 on the back of his gray jersey. Alex Crosby playing first today. Joe DeLuca in the designated hitter spot. Generally, as the runner goes on the pitch that was inside, not giving Jake Marshall enough time to fire down to second, and a runner in scoring position for the Revolution.
And Harris immediately taken off there, got a good jump off that first movement on Austin Glorious. As it looked like even if Jake Marshall was able to pop up and try to make the throw, I think he was in there easily.
The pitch on its way from Glorious. A cutter swung on and missed. 1-2 the count. Stevie, we talked about it in one of our last broadcasts before we left, but the foreign substances debate in Major League Baseball has heated up even more. We've seen umpires have in-game mid-inning checks for foreign substances. A dribbler to the right side fielded on a knee and touching first base is Alex Crosby for out number 1.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of it recently. Max Scherzer getting checked, I believe. It was between it almost every half inning he would come out of the game, he would have to be checked, but sometimes it's just the pitcher's too good.
It's true. It's very true. One of the incidents that got a good amount of attention was that of Mickey Janis, a knuckleballer for the Baltimore Orioles, who in fact used to play for the Blue Crabs back in 2014. Doesn't make a ton of sense to check a knuckleballer for foreign substances.
Especially when the foreign substance is supposed to be affecting the spin rate on the ball on a pitch that has a 0 spin rate normally.
This is true. It's a critical play from Southern Maryland as Austin Glorious gets Tyler Hill to ground out to Michael Baca, make that Blackstone at second base, who is playing in on the grass. Run is unable to score, and this could be huge for Austin Glorious, who now faces the 9-hole hitter, the second baseman, number 12, Walner Espinal. The right-hander Glorious set of the belt out of the stretch. First pitch fouled over our heads here in the bayonet press box for strike number 1. Good on Glorious for working ahead here early in this count. Again, Southern Maryland's magic number offensively is 4. The Blue Crabs are 10-3 in games in which they've scored 4 or more runs, 1-10 in games in which they have scored 3 or less. A ball and a strike the count to Walner Espinal, the second baseman in his first at bat so far in this contest. Beautiful curveball has Espinal way ahead of it. The count, a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Glorious really had Espinal fooled there on that breaking ball low. A nice pitch to have there as he's now up 1-2 in the count.
Glorious in control here with the runner on third. The 1-2, yet another strikeout. Big time pitch for the right-hander Austin Glorious. He's got his head high as he walks off the mound. A scoreless top of the second gives way to the bottom half of the inning when we return right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson and the whole team, trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289. When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Tony McClure of Century 21 New Millennium and his Grand Slam team, the realtor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since our first season in 2008. Tony and his team are preferred partners includes Tim Murphy of CNF Mortgage and Steve Scott of the Scott Law Group. Together, they will ensure that your real estate needs are nothing short of a grand slam. The quality service you will receive is Hall of Fame worthy. Put Tony's 41-plus years of experience to work for you. Call or text Tony today at 301-928-1280 for your personal Grand Slam experience. Go Blue Crabs.
Josh McAdams, Joe DeLuca, and Jake Lucci to lead us off here in this bottom of the second inning for Southern Maryland. The Blue Crabs trailing 2-0 here early. The Blue Crabs and the Revs with an 11-13 record on the season. Tied for second place in the Atlantic League North Division. The Blue Crabs fresh off a series win in York that ended last night. Last night's 2-0 win over the Blue Crabs was the Revs' only win in that series. The 1-0 misses outside quickly. 2 balls, no strikes the count. From Austin Steinford, we mentioned his biggest problem to this point in the season has undoubtedly been his issues with command. The 2-0 also misses outside, and if I'm Southern Maryland, and in particular, Josh McAdams right now, I'm being as patient as I possibly can.
Yeah, Steinfurt trying his hardest to try to get that ball to hit on that outer half of the strike zone, but the robo umpire just not seeing it.
3-0 on its way from Steinfurt. A sinker catches the low and away corner. 3 balls and a strike the count as the charge chants start up here at Regency Furniture Stadium.
You know, McAdams is the kind of guy that's very streaky at the plate. Moves around in the lineup as he pops that one up to the infield. And that one's going to be hauled in by Walmer Espinal for the first out of the inning.
So after a 3-1 count, McAdams pops up to the right side, giving way to Joe DeLuca. DeLuca, a .225 hitter on the year, that was fantastic in particular to begin that most recent road trip. In 3 games against Gastonia, he had 7 RBIs. Him and Baca were the 2 big bats in that series. Baca had 2 home runs against the Gastonia Honey Hunters, his only 2 of the season. DeLuca on the season has 13 RBIs, 7 of them coming in 3 games. Steinford comes in and hits Joe DeLuca, and that is one of the perils of being a switch hitter, being that his throwing arm was hit on that pitch. That brings up Jake Lucci. The left fielder wears number 11 on the back of his throwback San Diego Padres-inspired Southern Maryland Blue Crabs jersey. Number 11 digs into the box. He didn't get a ton of time on the field during this most recent road trip. Lucci, for the most part, was replaced in left field by Matt Hibbert. Hibbert was signed that first day of that most recent road trip, but has not played a game here at Regency Furniture Stadium. He was unbelievably good as well. Had a .465 on base percentage in that 9-game span. In addition, a .333 batting average. A runner on, it's DeLuca at first, a Steinford offering, an off-speed pitch that misses away.
And a good eye there by Lucci. Steinford trying his best to just paint these corners, but he's just missing them on the outer halves.
Lucci with a long step out of the box, and now he'll step back in, tap home plate, and prepare for the next offering from Austin Steinford. The pitch, well outside. Lucci, like McAdams and DeLuca, trying to be patient up there at the plate. It is one of the woes that Southern Maryland has suffered this year, being a little bit too aggressive in the box.
And as you can see, so far, just in this inning, 3-1 count to McAdams to start off, and then a hit by pitch, and now another 3-0 count. If you're the Blue Crabs, you said it, you're going up there with a whole lot of patience.
Steinfurt gets one across, but the catcher Tyler Hill looks back at our home plate umpire just to make sure. The count 3 balls, no strikes, make that 1 strike. Right on left matchup as Lucci prepares for the hitter's count offering from Steinfurt. The pitch fouled to the left side, should get out of play and will. It'll go down as a souvenir for a fan. A doubleheader here this evening at Regency Furniture Stadium, so if you're not out of the ballpark, it is not too late. 2 7-inning games. The second game will start roughly 30 minutes after the final out is recorded here in game number 1. Hopefully it's Southern Maryland celebrating a victory. Lucci awaiting the pitch. DeLuca goes on the pitch. First baseman Carlos Castro fields a hot shot ground ball off 2 bounces. Steps on first. DeLuca gets into scoring position with 2 down.
You know, not the bad idea there by Lucci. He saw that gap on the second base side of the field. But nice job over there by the first baseman, able to gobble that up and make the play.
That'll bring up Jake Marshall, the 8th hole hitter in the Blue Crabs lineup. The catcher wears number 2 on the back of his jersey. Marshall didn't get a ton of appearances in that 9-game road trip as the first pitch he sees in there for strike number 1. Marshall went 0 for 7 on the road trip. A 300 hitter on the year. Came out of the gates steaming hot, but has slowed down a little bit since. Couple lookbacks to second from Steinfurt. The 0-1 upstairs to even things up at a ball and a strike.
Now you talked about Jake Marshall was hot to start off here with the Blue Crabs when he got some playing time. Cooled off since then, just a 300 batting average for him and 5 RBIs on the season. As he's looking for his 6th here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning.
The 1-1 low and away, 2 balls and a strike the count. And again, if you're Marshall, patience is a virtue here against Austin Steinfurt. Batters are hitting just .210 against him this year, but he's averaged nearly 2 walks issued per inning this season. The right-hander, a look back to second and the pitch. Marshall sees a sinker inside, but it'll catch for strike number 2. Now's where things get a little bit more aggressive if you're Jake Marshall and the Blue Crabs. Anything close, you're protecting. Steinfurt a look back to second. The pitch, chopped to the left side and foul. Fielded on 3 hops by Blue Crabs hitting coach / third base coach Ray Ortega. DeLuca in scoring position. Steinfurt with a long look into his catcher Hill, and now a look back to second. The pitch. Low and away, bouncing in the dirt, and the count runs full yet again.
You know, not only are the Blue Crabs being patient at the plate, but they're also doing a nice job of running these counts full to try to get Steinfurt's pitch count up, and it seems to be working so far.
Yeah, it certainly does. You mentioned every batter other than Joe DeLuca, who was hit by a pitch, has worked the count to at least 3 balls. 3-2 downstairs for Jake Marshall. He draws a walk. That puts runners on first and second for Will Decker. Decker, like Marshall and Lucci, not too many plate appearances of late. He went 0 for 6 over the last 9 games. With that being said, his bat has picked up of late. He started the season 0 for 21, but has 4 hits since. A 122 hitter in limited opportunities here in this 2021 campaign. Was part of a massive 7th inning for the Blue Crabs. in Game 3 against the High Point Rockers just a few days ago. He reached base on an error that drove in 2 runs in part of a 9-run 7th-inning comeback victory for the Blue Crabs over the Rockers. The 0-1 inside, a ball and a strike. Decker wears number 23 on the back of his navy and baby blue jersey. Steinfurt, the pitch, inside and low, 2 balls and a strike the count.
As you said, Decker, a guy we haven't seen a whole lot of recently. Started the season in those spring training games at second base before being moved to his normal position of outfield. As we see him here now, trying to turn this lineup back over here in the bottom of the second.
2 balls and a strike the count from Steinfurt. The pitch right over our heads right here in the Bayonet press box, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you're Decker here, Stevie, what pitch are you looking for?
I think you're just looking for that fastball. As you've seen Steinfurt a couple times with 2 strikes, tries to paint that outer half.
Steinfurt, the 2-2 on its way. Decker slaps one, but foul. Well struck, and DeLuca will have to return to second base. Should Decker reach, awaiting on deck the leadoff man, the second baseman, Kent Blackstone. So we'll do it all over again. 2-2, 2 on, 2 down, 2-0 score in the second inning. That's a whole lot of 2s. Steinfurt's 2-2, inside, ball number 3. It was close. Steinfurt thought it was a strike, but Decker patiently awaited to work the count full, and now both DeLuca and Marshall will get a head start at first and second base.
We're going to see runners moving here with this full count, as a base hit would surely score at least 1.
Runners do go as Decker pelts one straight up into the air. Tyler Hill can't seem to find it. Somebody, as Hill backs up as the first baseman Carlos Castro comes in, slides, but Tyler Hill catches for out number 3. That brings us into the top of inning number 3 when we return on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson and the whole team, trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289. When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Tony McClure of Century 21 New Millennium and his Grand Slam team, the realtor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since our first season in 2008. Tony and his team of preferred partners includes Tim Murphy of CNF Mortgage and Steve Scott of the Scott Law Group. Together, they will ensure that your real estate needs are nothing short of a grand slam. The quality service you will receive is Hall of Fame worthy. Put Tony's 41-plus years of experience to work for you. Call or text Tony today at 301-928-1280 for your personal Grand Slam experience. Go Blue Crabs.
is Jordan Scott, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
One more time, as Darian Sanford's going to start it off here for the Revolution in the top of the third, as he led off the top of the first inning with a base hit, followed by that big 2-run home run by Jan Sanchez waiting in the on-deck circle. That first pitch going to be a ball for Sanford. Count's going to start 1-0. As Glorious' second pitch is going to hit the outer half of that strike zone. Count runs to 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Glorious. That ball is going to stay outside. Count now goes 2-1. Darian Sanford at the plate. That ball is ripped into right field. Will Decker's got to come in on it, and he dives and makes the play out and right. For the first out of the inning, Will Decker saves a base hit off the bat of Darian Sanford. Now there's one down here in the top of the third inning. It's going to bring up the big bat of Jan Sanchez, as we talked about, put one on top of the picnic deck over there over the mini wall in left field. First pitch coming from Glorious. It's going to be low out of the strike zone for ball one. Sanchez, as we've talked about, a good bat to have in the top of your lineup for the Revolution as he swings through that ball. The count now runs 1-1. 1-1 the count now to Sanchez. Fastball looked to be right down the middle. Glorious gets ahead of this one. He's counted now 1-2. Talked about Sanchez so far this season, batting .389. Gives him 21 hits and just 54 at-bats. Is that breaking ball going to ring him up? And a late call from the home plate umpire as Sanchez doesn't believe it. A backwards K for Glorious is now quickly. There's 2 outs here in the top of the third inning.
And a really good recovery for Austin Glorious, who, of course, found a little bit of struggles in the early going. Back-to-back hits led to 2 runs for the York Revolution, but they've yet to collect a hit ever since.
Yeah, he's done a nice job after giving up those 2 runs, really taking command of that mound, trying to keep his team in it. It's going to bring up the 3-batter, the first baseman, Carlos Castro, who struck out for the first out of the first inning. And a big swing from Castro as he swings through the fastball. Count starts off at 0-1.
And, of course, we can't talk about Carlos Castro without talking about just how incredible he's been in this 2021 season. Leads the Atlantic League in batting average.
And Castro rips one up the middle. Baca can't get to it. As now with 2 outs here in the top of the third, Castro gets on board with a base hit. It's going to bring up the right fielder and the second strikeout victim for Austin Glorious. It's going to be JC Encarnacion, as he looks to try to bring Castro around here with 2 outs in the top of the third. The York third baseman rips it down the line over to Josh McAdams, and with ease makes the throw across the diamond for the third out of the inning. After 2.5 innings played here, the Blue Crabs still trail 2-0 to the York Revolution. And we'll be back here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Please stay tuned.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Weiss Markets is a proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and has been since their inaugural season in 2008. Weiss Markets also presents one of the Blue Crabs' best and most famous promotions every single year. Kids can get in free to every single Blue Crabs game of every single year simply by wearing a jersey thanks to Weiss Markets. Weiss Markets can help you with all of your game day needs for a great price. Stop in at your local Weiss today. Eat better, spend less. That's wise. Weiss Markets is a proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. When you need a win on the road, don't get left stranded. Make AAA part of your roster and you'll always have someone on deck ready to get you home. AAA also offers car care, insurance, and travel services and has stores conveniently located for Blue Crabs fans in Brandywine, Crofton, and Alexandria. Don't forget to ask them about membership discounts for military and first responders. Please visit AAA.com to learn more or to find a AAA location near you.
This is Mike Devine, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the third inning here at Regency Furniture Stadium as the Blue Crabs trail 2-0. As the top of the lineup of Kent Blackstone's going to lead it off here. Blackstone had a hard ground ball back up the middle to Steinfurt, but he was able to make the play for the first out of the first inning. That first pitch going to stay out for ball one. A big swing from Blackstone, as that one going to run the count even. The 1-1 pitch from Steinfurt. Blackstone lets it stay outside. The count now goes to 2-1.
Take a look over at the MLB so far today. A historic performance to this point for Aaron Nola. He struck out 10 consecutive batters. First time that's happened in the MLB since 1970. Tom Seaver. Nola with 12 strikeouts through 5 innings pitched.
Now the 3-1 count to Blackstone. Comes the pitch from Steinfurt. That one's going to run low and inside. The Blue Crabs start off the bottom of the third inning with a runner on. As that is Steinfurt's now fourth walk in just 3 innings for him so far today. Brings up the number 2 hole hitter, the shortstop, Michael Baca. Baca had that towering foul ball back in the top of the first inning. They ended up getting struck out. As we've talked about him before, a guy that took a game or two to get back into this lineup has done a nice job so far at the plate. First pitch from Steinfurt's going to be ripped foul towards the Blue Crabs dugout. As the count's going to run to 0-1.
Another note on the MLB so far today. Of course, we're not broadcasting the game, so we can mention it. Corbin Burns has a no-hitter going against the Colorado Rockies here today. Burns has been fantastic this year. So far, 5 innings pitched, no hits allowed. Maybe a little premature, but nonetheless.
Nonetheless, still a good stat to bring up.
True. I mean, I'm on the MLB stats website that we have, of course, through our partnership with the MLB, and their game pops up with a little flag that says no hitter. So I feel like if they can say it, we can too.
Exactly. 1-1 the count now to Baca. Blackstone awaits at first base. He's going to take off. And a bobbled throw by Hill behind the plate. As Blackstone's easily going to get in there. Now the Blue Crabs have a runner in scoring position with no outs here in the top of the third. And I believe that last pitch was called a strike. That's going to bring the count to 1-2 for Michael Baca. Steinfurt steps off the mound, takes a second to himself.
You know, the Blue Crabs have been fantastic on the road this season, 9-7, but here at home, just 2-6.
Not very many home victories for the Blue Crabs. As that one's going to be popped foul over on the right side, and that's going to get up and out of play. As they're going to be able to cut this lead in half with a base hit. This Blackstone should be sure to score.
The Blue Crabs with the second best record in the last 10 games of play at 7-3. Nobody better than the Lexington Legends, who are on fire right now. 8-2 in their last 10. They're 11-0 at home this year.
And the pitch from Steinfurt's going to be dribbled over to the left side. Third baseman Sanzone able to gobble that one up and get it over the diamond for the first out of the inning. Did a nice job of able to get that ground ball in his glove and look over to Blackstone to make sure he stays at 2. Able to fire over and get the speedy Bach over at first. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Zach Collier, who had a walk back in the first inning. As we talked about earlier, a guy you normally don't see in the 3-hole of this lineup, but he's definitely earned that spot so far this year.
Yeah, he certainly has. You know, he's been more comfortable in that 5, 6, 7 spot, but with a couple of injuries and how dominant he's been of late, it just makes too much sense to not put him in that 3-hole.
At first pitch from Steinfurt's going to run low for ball 1 on Collier.
Of course, Dario Pisano has manned that 3-hole spot nearly every game this season.
As we know, Pisano out of the lineup today for this first game of this doubleheader. And a big swing from Zach Collier. And that ball is going to stay fair as Zach Collier rips one down the right field line, and it took a minute for everyone to figure out if it was going to be fair or not. And the call from the home plate umpire says it's fair as the Blue Crabs now tie the game up in the bottom of the third off a 2-run blast from Zach Collier.
Stevie, that one was awfully close. The York right fielder currently standing in right field pointing foul, but it's not going to matter. Zach Collier with a booming home run. The center fielder getting the Blue Crabs going, and now the crowd making some noise. The 5th home run on the year for Zach Collier.
No, we talked about it. A guy that's not going to intimidate you with his size, but as you see there on that last swing, he'll intimidate you with the bat.
That was a no-doubter if it was fair. If we knew it was fair, we would have never questioned it.
And, of course, now we can say it, as that was just the first hit given up by Steinfurt so far in those 3 innings of work. And that was a big one for Zach Collier.
Yeah, that's one way to break up a no-hitter. There's no question about that. Now Collier, with that hit, riding a 10-game hit streak, the longest for any Blue Crab this year.
And that one's going to go outside. Count's going to run 2-0 now for Alex Crosby, the first baseman.
Crosby wearing the Jordan 11 Columbia Blues. Of course, turned into baseball cleats, but those look pretty darn good with that baby blue Blue Crabs jersey.
You know, I love seeing those type of custom cleats, especially on some of the professional players that are willing to pay guys thousands of dollars just to have the best cleats out there. It's really something cool to see.
It is. It's very cool.
2-2 the count now to Crosby. Excuse me. 3-2 the count now to Crosby. Comes the full count pitch as that one's ripped down the right field line, but that's going to be foul. The count stays at 3-2.
Half the hits in this game have been home runs. Pretty crazy stat.
You know, you see games like that, and that one's ripped down the right field line, and that's going to drop in front of Encarnacion and right. And Alex Crosby is on with a 1-out base hit here in the top of the third.
Collier and Crosby have been an unbelievable 1-2 punch, no matter where you put them in the order. Today in the 3-4 spot, but now Crosby extends his hit streak to 10 games. Collier got there first, but Pretty incredible what those two have been able to do in these last couple of games.
That's going to bring up Josh McAdams now. Popped out to the second baseman to start the top of the second inning, as he's had a pretty big bat so far this season as well. No stranger to putting the ball out of the park. And a big swing from him, as that ball looked to break a little bit outside, and looks to be frustrated with that swing.
McAdams homered 2 games ago. It was game 2 of a 3-game series against the Revs in York. He hit a 2-run home run and a 9-5 Blue Crabs victory.
That ball's ripped to left field. Lost it in the sun was Harris in left. And that ball's going to get over his head and out to the mini monster in left. Now the Blue Crabs, with just 1 out, have 2 runners on in scoring position at second and third.
It looked like McAdams didn't get as much of that baseball as he may have wanted to. I think he almost check swung a little bit and followed through, but you mentioned it. Looks like the sun affected the left fielder Harris, and again, you'll take that if you're the Blue Crabs.
That's McAdams' 3rd double on the season so far for him. Now that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Joe DeLuca, who we've talked about has been on a tear as of recent, especially in that last road series. Runners on second and third here for the Blue Crabs as Joe DeLuca at the plate looks at the first pitch in the dirt for ball 1.
DeLuca, the designated hitter for the Blue Crabs today. Jake Marshall getting the catching duties in game 1. You imagine that DeLuca might be behind the plate in game 2.
Want to know the count now to DeLuca. Comes the pitch from Steinfurt. That ball is going to be fouled off. Looked to be off the foot of DeLuca.
He's taking a beating today. He was hit his first time up by a pitch in his throwing arm, and now fouls one off his right ankle.
DeLuca so far, 225 average for him. He's got 5 doubles on the season, 1 triple and a home run for him as well, alongside 13 RBIs. As a base hit to the outfield will sure add 2 more to that list. And a big swing from DeLuca. And he knew as soon as he swung it, he didn't want to. Count now 1-2 on the designated hitter. One and two, the count now to DeLuca. Comes the pitch from Steinfurt. That one's going to be fouled off into the screen behind home plate. The count's going to stay 1-2.
It's a beautiful job of staying alive there if you're Joe DeLuca. Not a pitch he wanted to do anything with in terms of putting it into play, but you got to swing at that, especially with a robotic umpire. So really good job with plate discipline there from number 17.
Very good piece of hitting. A 1-2 pitch. That one's going to be lifted out to right field, but that's going to tail a little bit too far right. There's another foul ball. Is going to keep the count at 1-2. As you talked about, DeLuca hit on the first pitch of his first at-bat in the second inning. As we also said, a base hit here would surely score 2 here for the Blue Crabs. They have tied this game up in the top of the third, the bottom of the third. That ball low and in the dirt. Good block behind the plate by Hill. As Crosby looked to almost try to score there. But a good block kept that ball in front of him as the count now runs even at 2 apiece.
And if you're the manager for the Revolution, Mark Mason, you're probably thinking bullpen sometime soon. Not necessarily because Steinfurt hasn't pitched well, but because this next pitch will be his 75th of the young ball game. We're only in the third inning.
Yeah, and we talked about that earlier. The Blue Crabs doing a nice job with their patience at the plate, running these counts to 3-1 full count. Try to tire him out. And a big swing from DeLuca as that one's also going to be fouled down the right field line. We got a pretty good at-bat here bowling in for Joe DeLuca.
Yeah, we sure do, and that's exactly what you want to see with runners on second and third base. Good speed from McAdams at second. Passable speed from Crosby at third. Will certainly score 2 on anything that drops in the outfield.
That foul ball makes this next one the 8th pitch of the at-bat. DeLuca steps in the box, the left-handed catcher. The 2-2 pitch from Steinfort. Another one going to be fouled off for DeLuca as he stays alive. DeLuca, 16 hits for him on the year. As we said, 13 RBIs, just 3 walks from him, alongside 14 strikeouts. So as we said earlier, a big thing for this Blue Crabs lineup, trying to stay patient at the plate and stop being so eager. A 2-2 pitch. He's going to leave that one high and is going to run the count full.
And you know what's interesting? The Blue Crabs and the Revs are seeing a lot of each other of late. 8 games in 7 days. Of course, today, the one day that we're going to see a doubleheader. Make that 7 games in 6 days, I should say.
And the payoff pitch. That one's going to be low. And a good at-bat from DeLuca, as he is now 0 for 0 on the game with 2 walks for him, and that brings up the bat of Jake Lucci. Lucci, we talked about, was in this starting lineup for the Blue Crabs. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of swings in the past couple days in that road series, as he's batting just 122 so far on the year. 3 RBIs, 5 walks, and 18 strikeouts for him.
And if you're Lucci, this is a fantastic opportunity to prove to Stan Clyburn that you have the ability to work your way back into that starting lineup. Lucci started the season not in the starting lineup, then had about 7 or 8 games where he was in the mix every day, but has moved back into a supplementary role.
You know, a guy that brings a lot of energy to this Blue Crabs lineup. You see him get in the box with the same amount of energy as he does every single time. He's ready to go after and attack that pitcher. Bases loaded here for the Blue Crabs with just 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. And Jake Lucci is going to take that first pitch for strike 1.
Jake Marshall and Will Decker awaiting on deck and in the hole. Some action in the York Revolution bullpen.
Blue Crabs faithful get excited here as he rips one down the first baseline, but that one's going to be foul.
We mentioned the magic number is 4 for the Blue Crabs. Southern Maryland 10-3 in games in which they score 4 or more runs on the young season. 1-10 in games in which they score 3 or less. That 4th run awaiting on second base potentially for the Blue Crabs.
0-2 the count now to Lucci. A big swing as that one's fouled off behind us here in the Bayonet press box. Count stays at 0-2 to today's starting left fielder.
You mentioned it, but really good energy here at Regency Furniture Stadium today.
Tie-dye guy Ron Lord cheering on the crowd, trying to get them hyped up. 0-2 the count still to Lucci, as that pitch stays high and outside. Count goes 1-2.
Yeah, it looks like Steinfort let that one slip a little bit out of his hand. I say that because he looked right at that right hand right after the pitch.
One and two count now to Lucci. Alex Crosby on third. Low and inside. The 5th pitch to the left fielder, and the count runs even at 2-2. Crosby at third, McAdams on second, and Joe DeLuca waiting at first base. As the Blue Crabs are looking to take the lead here in the bottom of the 3rd with just 1 out. That ball is ripped off the glove of Steinfurt, and everyone's going to be safe.
That was a stroke of luck for Southern Maryland. Of course, right up the middle, a tailor-made double play ball, if a pitcher could ever have a tailor-made double play ball, but it's very tough to field your position. That's why I say if a pitcher could ever have one. A difficult play for Steinfurt, but a good break for Southern Maryland as they pull ahead 3-2.
Good piece of hitting there by Lucci as Jake Marshall comes to the plate for the second time this game as he walked back in the second inning. He's looking to bring a couple more Blue Crab runners across the plate. A big swing puts him in a hole 0-1 to start.
Marshall has gotten some good press of recent, had a couple of articles penned about him, both newspapers based out of Alexandria, where he's from and still lives.
Second pitch to Marshall, runs outside, count goes 1-1.
Both pieces centered around him achieving his dream of playing for Southern Maryland.
1-1 the count to Marshall. Another big swing brings the count to 0-2. As he looks to be lunging just ahead of that ball.
Marshall actually got his opportunity with Southern Maryland through Kent Blackstone. The two trained together, and Blackstone arranged for Marshall to get a tryout in spring training.
The 1-2 pitch, that one's outside, low and away. Count goes even again at 2-2.
Marshall with a fantastic eye, as most catchers have.
Another big swing from Marshall, swings right through the ball as he strikes out for the second out of the inning.
So a big at bat here for Will Decker, who has the opportunity to either keep it as close could be or break things open here in the bottom of the third.
Now, we talked about a couple times on a few different broadcasts. One of the things the Blue Crabs lineup needs to work on is leaving runners on the bases. As so far they've made that happen as that one gets away from the catcher Hill. And a heads-up play by Josh McAdams as he scores on the passed ball. The Blue Crabs take a 4-2 lead now in the bottom of the third inning.
That is top-notch base running by Josh McAdams. Oftentimes base runners get lazy out there, as we all do. But McAdams, on the other hand, gets a really strong secondary. The ball didn't bounce that far away, but he was out far enough that he saw Hill didn't really have a good read on where the ball was. Gets home safely and standing. What a job on the base paths.
A couple of different factors. A good secondary, a nice read of the ball. And the fact that you said it, Hill really just couldn't find it once it bounced off his body. A recipe for success as the Blue Crabs played another one. Comes the pitch to Will Decker as that one's going to be skied high behind the plate. Hill seems to have it as he's able to bring it in for the third out of the inning, but not before the Blue Crabs plate 4 runs across as they are now up 4-2 heading into the top of the fourth inning. Make sure you guys stay tuned to us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We will be right back.
This is Austin Glorious, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Through October of 2021, COVID-19 vaccinations are offered right here at Regency Furniture Stadium. No appointment necessary. Just swing on by and get your COVID-19 vaccination today. Take one for the team, Southern Maryland. Get the vaccine. Dyson Building Center is one of the oldest family-owned and operated hardware, lumber, and building supply stores in Southern Maryland. They are located in St. Mary's County on Route 5 in Great Mills. Dyson's has an expansive and diverse inventory to help you with all of your home improvement and project needs. Whether you're new to the world of DIY a tried and true DIY professional, or somewhere in between, the friendly and experienced staff at Dyson Building Center is ready and willing to help you today.
This is Blake Bivens, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Top of the fourth inning here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Stevie Bowen alongside Andrew Banstra. As the Blue Crabs had a big bottom of the third as they were able to plate 4 across and take the lead 4-2 here against the visiting York Revolution. As the designated hitter, Jack Kenley, is going to come to the plate for the second time today. First pitch from Glorious going to be in there for strike 1. Kenley flew out to Lucci to end the top of the first inning, as he's looking to get on here and hopefully chip away at this Blue Crabs lead. And a big swing there as he swings right through the ball. Count runs 0-2. 0-2 the count now. Another big swing as that breaking ball gets him way out ahead in front of the ball. And Austin Glorious now, with his 5th strikeout of the day, gets the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, James Harris. And we saw the last half inning, Josh McAdams put a double off the wall in left field. Harris was out there, looked to lose the ball in the light as soon as it came off the bat. As he normally on these double headers, we start at 5 p.m. instead of 6:30. A lot more light stays on the field. Makes it harder for those outfielders and infielders to see the ball. First pitch to Harris is going to be in there for strike number 1. One out here, 0-1 the count in the top of the 4th inning. As the second pitch to Harris is going to go outside, going to stay low. Count now goes to 1-1. One and one the count. Way ahead of the pitch. Decided to check swing, but called a strike by the robo umpire, and the count now goes to 1-2 for Glorious on the mound. One and two for Harris at the plate. Breaking ball is going to stay inside. Count goes to 2-2. We talked about earlier. A little shaky top of the first inning as he gave up a base hit, then almost immediately a 2-run home run. Austin Glorious really taking command on the mound and able to shut down the rest of this Revolution lineup. 2-2 the count now to Harris. That one's low and inside. Count runs full at 3-2. For only the second time this game, a Revolution batter has brought it to full count. And that one's going to stay outside for Glorious. As now with one out, James Harris gets on with a walk.
You know, worth mentioning that it's important to give a shout out to the York Revolution manager, Mark Mason, and his 8th season with the Revs. He's the longest tenured and winningest active manager in the Atlantic League. 7th in league history because he just picked up his 500th win.
Very big milestone to hit, and congratulations to him. Pickoff move over to first. Harris back easy as John Sanzone comes to the plate. Sanzone's been with the Revolution for just 5 games. Batting .267 so far, has a home run and 3 RBIs under his belt as that one runs very inside for ball 1.
Speaking of milestones, this game is the 1800th game in Revolution franchise history.
Want to know the count now to the third baseman. As time is called, he steps out of the box to recompose himself. Said only 4 hits for him in 5 games. For the young third baseman. Is that next pitch going to run inside once again as the count now goes to 2-0.
Very important right here if you're Glorious to try to rein things back in. Find that groove that you were in the second and third innings.
See a lot of these at-bat in the seconds and third innings. Stayed ahead in the count as he's able to battle back there. Count goes to 2-1. But as you said, he was ahead of a lot of the accounts or got him swinging on first pitches back in those second and third innings. 4-2 the score here. Your hometown Southern Maryland Blue Crabs leading the York Revolution. And a swing, little dribbler over to the first baseman, Crosby. He's going to take it himself and make the tag for the second out of the inning.
Good play by Crosby. That's always an awkward play as a first baseman. You're not exactly sure what to do. Do I toss to the covering pitcher? Do I step on it myself? Do I try to tag? But it's a little awkward to generally try to tag the runner. So good decision there by going for the tag, especially on a cue ball. A little dribbler like that, you're not exactly sure where it's going to bounce. Good patience there from Crosby.
Yeah, the ball that looked like it hit just off the end of the bat and dribbled over there to first. That's going to bring up the catcher and Tyler Hill. Grounded out to Kent Blackstone for the second out of the second inning. That first pitch going to run a little too far inside. Count goes to 0-1.
You know, we talk about Crosby. He has been a fantastic addition to this Southern Maryland team.
And a nice play by Glorious as Hill put one back up the middle on the ground. And Glorious able to get out of that inning after letting up the walk. As we head into the bottom of the fourth inning, your Blue Crabs still up 4-2 here against visiting York Revolution. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network, and we'll be right back.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
In February of 2020, Regency Furniture Stadium and the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs were given what we view as an honor, being named the 4th mass vaccination site in the state of Maryland. Here's a message from Regency Furniture about the honor that it has been and still is to be one of Maryland's mass vaccination sites, getting our community back to safety.
During these times of uncertainty, it helps to know there are things we can control to help ourselves and others.
For me, it presents the hope that soon enough, my friends and family will be together again.
I want to take this moment to thank the Maryland National Guard for their support in helping to facilitate and manage the vaccinations here at the Regency Furniture Stadium. We just think it's so important for everyone to do their part, and we're just grateful for their support.
Thank you for some of your support, and we're just honored to be a part of the vaccination effort out here and to serve the community.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson and the whole team, trust State Farm with their insurance.
This is Kent Blackstone, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the fourth here at Regency Furniture Stadium. The Blue Crabs holding a 4-2 lead here against the visiting York Revolution, as Isaac Sanchez now on the mound for the Revolution. The 6'2 right-hander from the Bronx of New York City comes on the mound to try to hold this Blue Crabs lead to just 2 runs. And a fastball. First pitch to Blackstone is going to stay low for ball number 1.
Sanchez actually began this season as a member of the High Point Rockers. Didn't allow any runs in 4 2/3 innings. But since joining the York Revolution, he has found some struggles. The right-hander, since joining the Revs, 6 2/3 innings, 7 earned runs, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Blackstone is going to rip that one over, but the second baseman, Espinal, is there to make the play. And a nice heads-up play, good agility to be able to get over and save that ball from being a base hit.
That means we can put a final bow on Austin Steinfurt's evening. He went 3 innings. He won't get a decision, and actually he's on the hook for the loss. He can't get the win, I should say. The right-hander allowed 3 hits in 3 innings, 4 runs, 2 earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts.
And as we talked about, was doing well so far in those first 2 innings, as he had yet to give up a hit. And that big 2-run bomb by Zach Collier was the first hit given up for him, and then 2 more coming afterwards brought those runs across for the Blue Crabs. Now Michael Baca stands in the plate as he grounds that one over to the shortstop, Sanchez, as he throws across the diamond. Had to come off of the bag to make the play. Couldn't get back on as Baca slides in. And that's going to be an error on the shortstop, as now the Blue Crabs have a runner on.
You want to talk about good base running. That is brilliant base running. Generally, you hear that you're not supposed to dive into first base, and I get where they're coming from. But in a situation like that, that is genius by Michael Baca. The first baseman, Carlos Castro, was so high in the air, if you dive, there's no chance he tags you. What a play.
And nice job ducking under that tag. And as we mentioned earlier, that brings up the big bat of Zach Collier, who walked back in the first and had that big 2-run bomb that teetered between the fair and foul line down the right field line. They ended up having that 2-run home run to tie the game back in the top of the 3rd. First pitch, fastball going to be outside for Collier.
A crowded picnic deck here this evening, and all-you-can-eat crab feast in left field.
Second pitch from Sanchez, high and outside once again. There's a count now 2-0 here to Collier.
You know, I'm not really the guy to ask about crab prices, but $45 for a baseball ticket and all-you-can-eat crabs is a pretty good deal. That means you're getting $30 for all-you-can-eat crabs, because the ticket, of course, is $15.
That is a very, very, very solid price here to have. Is that one sky deep into left center field? This one's carrying back on the warning track. This is at the wall, and the catch is going to be made by Darian Sanford. As, Andrew, we were about 3 feet away from seeing Zach Collier's second home run of the game.
Yeah, that was pretty unbelievable for a couple of reasons. One of them being that it was hit so high in the air that obviously it certainly caught some wind, although the wind isn't blowing all that much. But that was so high in the air that to get it that deep into the second deepest part of the field is pretty incredible. But in addition to that, I mean, off the bat, it didn't look like it was going to go that far. Pretty incredible display of power from Zach Collier.
And you said it off the bat, looked to be just a routine fly ball to the center fielder, and it kept carrying back.
You know, it looked like Darian Sanford was getting ready to try to rob that ball.
Alex Crosby now back on the plate. 1 for 2 so far on the game with that base hit coming back in the third inning. That pitch is stay outside. The count runs 2-0.
Of course, the last time that a home run was robbed at Regency Furniture Stadium was in 2019 from Corey Vaughn. Vaughn, a 4-year Blue Crab, a fan favorite, retired in 2019, but robbed his fair share of home runs and hit his fair share of home runs as a Blue Crab.
We've talked about it a couple times. Corey Vaughn, a guy known for just blowing it out of this park. As we've seen a couple Blue Crabs players in this starting lineup do it so far this season. As Crosby will foul that ball off. Count runs 2-1. Four to 2 the score here. Your Blue Crabs holding a 4-2 lead. We're here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Crosby at the plate. Michael Baca able to dive around that wild throw from the shortstop Sanchez. Pitch is going to go on the outer half of the plate and catch the strike zone. The count runs even 2-2.
Crosby's hit back in the third inning extended his hit streak to 10 games. Him and Collier both at that double-digit mark thanks to some base hits today. Of course, Collier's not a base hit but a home run.
2-2 the count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth inning. A big swing from Crosby at a ball in the dirt. Is that strike 3? As Michael Baca tries to take off for second base, and he's going to make it all the way around to score.
Incredible display of base running from Michael Baca. You can't say anything more about it, Stevie. Let's talk about how he got to each base.
Now, my original thought was correct here. I was pretty sure that was the third out on that strikeout from Alex Crosby, and it was. And that's going to be the end of the fourth inning. Everyone was confused here, it seemed like, at Regency Furniture Stadium. That dropped third strike, they tagged Alex Crosby when Baca tried to steal second base. Whatever just happened, that's the end of the fourth inning. Blue Crabs still holding a 2-run lead here as we head into the top of the fifth inning here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Will Decker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by, and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs! Hey Blue Crabs fans, make sure to visit the All-American Steakhouse and Sports Theater at 35 St. Patrick's Drive, right here in Waldorf, for some great food with great friends. Their steaks are fresh, hand-cut, in-house daily, as well as many other fresh seafood, chicken, and beef options. They offer outdoor and indoor dining, available each and every day, along with the same great menu to go if you would like. Please visit them online at www.theallamericansteakhouse.com. That's www.theallamericansteakhouse.com. Visit them.
This is Will Decker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Top of the fifth here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Blue Crabs still holding a 4-2 lead as Austin Gloria steps back on the mound for his fifth inning of work for the Blue Crabs. As he's done well so far after giving up the base hit and that home run back to the first two batters in the top of the first inning. He's really just taken control of this mound once again and has held him to just those 2 runs.
That pitch looked to be outside, but was called strike number 1.
0-1 the count now to the second baseman, Walmer Espinal. And that one way in the dirt in front of the plate. Count runs even at 1-1. Espinal went down on strikes and 4 pitches back to end the top of the second inning. And that's really when Austin Gloria started to kick it up a notch and really take control of this mound. And a big swing as he pops that one up over to the right side. Crosby's going back for it. And he's going to make the play in shallow right field, down that right field line for the first out of the inning. That brings up the leadoff guy, and Darian Sanford, who had that base hit in the top of the first inning, and then lined out to Will Decker, who made an amazing play over there at right field to start off the third inning.
Can't talk enough about Darian Sanford's speed. Of course, he had 99 stolen bases in one season back in 2016.
Sanford squares to bunt there, but pulls it back as that pitch looked to be a little inside for ball 1. And as you said, Andrew, a very dangerous guy to have on the base paths. Your main goal was just getting him out just so he doesn't even have the chance to reach bases. Because if he does, more than likely he's going to have at least 1 stolen base per game.
And he's somewhat of a unicorn in professional baseball, and by that I mean, of course, he's unbelievably rare, and that you don't see a lot of guys in professional baseball that are able to get on base and steal base as often as he is. You don't see a whole lot of times that the corners of the infield immediately come in when somebody comes up to the plate.
Definitely a bunting threat as well, as you said. It's 3-0 the count here to the leadoff guy. Looks like that one's just going to stay a little too far off the plate. It's another one of those pitches that looks like it might catch the outer half of the strike zone, but just doesn't get called. It's now with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Darian Sanford's on with a walk. Now Jan Sanchez up to the plate. 1 for 2 on the day with that big home run coming back in the first inning. And then struck out back in the top of the 3rd. 5 strikeouts on the day so far for Glorious. As we said, after that top of the first inning, really able to lock in. Sanford's going to take off. The throw from Marshall is not going to be in time, as Sanford's easily able to slide in there for a stolen base. Pitch was a ball, so the count is 1-0 to Jan Sanchez.
Of course, Sanchez had that 2-run home run back in the top of the first inning as the first sign of action in the Southern Maryland bullpen starting to brew is what's happening out there at second base. Sanford was just off the base paths, handed something, I believe, most likely a wrist protector. It was awfully small to the umpire.
Looks like it must have been.
I just found it strange you gave it to the umpire was all. I've never seen that.
And almost a mishap there as Blackstone not on second base, but Glorious with the pickoff move.
And of course, tomorrow, our first social media Saturday here on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network, as we talked about earlier. I'll bring up a little bit more about that after this pitch.
That one, nice off-speed pitch, catches that inner half of the strike zone as the count runs even at 1 apiece.
You know, Stevie and I are going to start trying to promote our social medias by connecting the broadcast with social media trends. Get to that, one more time after this pitch.
Comes the 1-1 pitch from Glorious.
As basically what we're going to do is identify a social media trend and incorporate it into the broadcast, Stevie. As you know, tomorrow's going to be our first You're Not That Guy Pal that we'll ever incorporate into a broadcast. Of course, that's a social trend that's going on right now. It's a funny video that both of us like a lot.
It's hilarious, dude.
And we will pick one York Revolution player before the game that we'll say is not going to be that guy for the day.
Another pickoff move to second base. This one a little closer. But Sanford's still back. One out here in the top of the 5th inning. Darian Sanford awaiting at second base. Jan Sanchez at the plate. Comes the 2-1 pitch from Austin Glorious. It's going to run inside on him. Count goes to 3-1.
You know, we should get a sponsor for that, Stevie. I think it's going to be a very successful segment. It's something we've talked about for a long time doing.
Something we have both been very excited about, as that one gets lined back into the backstop. Count now runs even at 3-2. Excuse me, count runs full at 3-2.
The magic number, of course, for Austin Glorious is going to be 5 innings in this game. That's the deepest he's gone to this point in the season. If I'm Stan Clyburn and Daryl Thompson, that's what I'm looking for out of him. So you'd love for him to finish this game. inning.
The payoff pitch, that one's roped into left field. Lucci's going to have to come up firing, but the speedy Sanford able to dig around the bases. An RBI base hit from Jan Sanchez, as he now has all the RBIs for the day for the York Revolution, as they are down to just 1 run. Score 4-3 with the Blue Crabs leading.
Daryl Thompson signaling down to the bullpen to see if the right-hander in the pen is ready and willing to come into the contest. Still trying to get a number on the right-hander in the bullpen. Stevie, have you been able to tell him? Maybe Andres Briseño.
I was thinking the same thing. It looks a little hard from here, but I think the second number on that jersey is a 7, which means it should be Andres Briseño. A first pitch to the first baseman.
What a catch by Austin Glorious.
It was down in the dirt. Sanchez took off for second base. Jake Marshall with a late throw down, just snapped off by Austin Glorious.
You know, Austin Glorious is a cool character out there on the mound. He's a guy that has the confidence that a professional pitcher needs, and that even if a mistake is made, he makes it look like it's supposed to have happened. That ball fired right near his head. He just grabs it, gets back out onto the mound. That's what you want to see out of your pitcher.
Just a very smooth player with everything he does. Is that one breaking ball going to go low and away? Two 2-0 the count now to Carlos Castro, as he's 1 for 2 on the day with a base hit and a strikeout. One runner on, one already came across here for the Revolution in the top of the 5th. That pitch is going to be called strike on the outer half, and the throw back to Glorious is away. Sanchez takes off for third. Blackstone did a nice job coming up, shoveling that ball over to McAdams, but a nice slide by Sanchez as he's able to get in there safely. There's now a runner on third base here for the Revolution with just 1 out. And as we were talking about, that last pitch called a strike. Carlos Castro didn't like it. Looked to be close in the same spot as a couple of those fastballs. And Steinfurt was trying to get in there for a strike that just weren't called earlier. 2-1 the count now to the first baseman. Blue Crabs infield playing in. So that one's ripped into the right side. And the Revolution are able to tie this game up in the top of the 5th off an RBI base hit from Carlos Castro.
Carlos Castro has been unbelievable this year. He is probably the premier candidate to get picked up in the entire Atlantic League right now.
And Stan Clyburn's going to come out to the mound, which only means one thing. As it looks like we're going to see Andres Briseño here on the mound for the Blue Crabs. As he comes in with a runner on first base and just 1 out in the top of the 5th. But we're going to take a quick break here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network, and we'll be right back.
This is Andres Briseño, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. playing the Switch. I like to scribble. Daddy, I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
This is Brandon Barker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Andres Briseño now in the game for the Blue Crabs. As the reliever comes on the mound here, with just a 1.74 ERA for him on the season. As he's had just 10 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 7 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, with 13 strikeouts and just 3 walks for him so far this season. As he's shown to be a true key reliever here for this Blue Crabs pitching staff.
Yeah, it seems like the 4 relievers that have really solidified themselves as the core 4 for Southern Maryland would be Briseño, Aregua, of course Latos, and Geeky has been fantastic as well.
First pitch from Briseño is going to be low and inside for ball 1 on the right fielder, J.C. Encarnacion. Talked about Briseño coming into this game with a runner on first base with just 1 out in the top of the 5th. That pitch roped foul. Count goes to 1 apiece.
Against the Revolution this year, Briseño has pitched 3 times, 2 1/3 innings, allowed just 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts.
The pitch from Briseño, that one going to be low as well. Count runs to 2-1.
Briseño's bringing the heat already today. He's topped out at nearly 94 miles an hour.
There's some heat coming off that right arm for him. So that one's grounded over to the left side. Double play ball. Baca over to Blackstone. Throws over, but unable to make the play as Encarnacion's able to dig it out to break up the double play. But there is now 2 outs here in the top of the 5th with a runner back on first base.
That was, although not a completed double play ball, a beautiful attempt at it. I mean, Baca and Blackstone both have such sweet feet out there on the field, and both of them are able to move so swiftly. Baca ranges to his right like it's not a problem, gives it off to Blackstone, who's basically at a 45-degree angle falling over, throws a dime to first, but not in time to finish off the double play.
As you said, both throws look to have him a little bit off balance. But as you said, nice play overall.
You know, watching Baca play the game of baseball is always a lot of fun, at least for me. He's a guy that moves with grace across the field, whether he's on the base paths or out there in the middle infield.
Pickoff move from Braceno. Over there to first. Encarnacion comes back safe. Still 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Revolution able to plate 2 as they tie the game up at 4 as he takes off for second base, and a good throw from Marshall. But Encarnacion able to get in there with a stolen base.
The more and more you play a team over the course of a season, the more and more you're going to get comfortable with their timing, with their looks, with the way in which their catchers throw down to second and their timing. So York has become more and more comfortable. In fact, they started off the season comfortably. In their first game against the Blue Crabs this year, they stole 7 bases, 4 of those coming from Darian Sanford.
As we said, Sanford as well. As soon as he gets on the base paths, he is an immediate threat. Another pickoff move to second as Baca sprints towards second base, but no throw from Braceno.
Braceno, a right-hander, 6'5", 175 pounds, out of Maracay, Venezuela.
And the first pitch there to the new designated hitter of Andrew Dundon. 5'10" infielder from Lincoln Park, New Jersey, in now with that double hook rule. As we saw Steinfurt come out of the game and Isaac Sanchez goes to the mound.
Which in turn means that Sanchez's afternoon is over, of course. Some more action in the Revs bullpen.
Comes the 0-1 pitch. Excuse me. The 0-2 pitch. A big swing. As the York Revolution able to plate 2 in the top of the 5th inning as they tie this game up here at 4 at Regency Furniture Stadium. We have McAdams, DeLuca, and Lucci coming up here for the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Stay tuned to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson, and the whole team trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289. When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Tony McClure of Century 21 New Millennium and his Grand Slam team, the realtor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since our first season in 2008. Tony and his team of preferred partners includes Tim Murphy of CNF Mortgage and Steve Scott of the Scott Law Group. Together, they will ensure that your real estate needs are nothing short of a grand slam. The quality service you will receive is Hall of Fame worthy. Put Tony's 41-plus years of experience to work for you. Call or text Tony today at 301-928-1280 for your personal Grand Slam experience. Go Blue Crabs.
This is Jordan Scott. You're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the 5th inning here at Regency Furniture Stadium. As we know, saw a new batter here in the designated hitter spot for York. As that brings Alberto Rodriguez to the mound for the Revolution, the right-hander out of Havana, Cuba. Seen him in 12 games so far this season, just 14 and 2/3 innings pitched for him. Has given up 20 hits, 12 runs, 10 of them earned, just 1 home run, 5 walks, and has struck out 18. He's currently 1-0 on the year with a 6.14 ERA. As Josh McAdams comes to the box, ready to duplicate what he did in his last at-bat, had that big double off the left field wall. And that ball is lifted high into right field. Encarnacion's got to run a little bit for it, but he's able to get under there and make the play for the first out of the inning.
Rodriguez's problem is very much the opposite of what we saw out of the first 2 pitchers on the mound for the York Revolution. Both Austin Steinfurt, I should say, as well as their second pitcher, Sanchez, both had fantastic batting average against, but struggled at times. As I'm going to pause on what I'm saying because Andres Briseño is batting, and I want to see that.
You know, I don't mean to cut you off, but I really do mean to cut you off right now because I'm excited for what we're about to see. I would be very surprised if we saw a big hit here from the pitcher, but clearly the Blue Crabs want to keep him on the mound, so they're going to let him hit in the spot.
Additionally, not a ton of depth on the bench for Southern Maryland here today. San Clyburn not left with much of a choice.
And a big swing from Briseño as he turns around with a smile towards his dugout. As they know this is something that doesn't have often, so you're really not expecting a fantastic at-bat from your pitcher, but it's always just something fun to see.
It certainly is.
Comes the 2-1 pitch from Rodriguez. And another big swing from Briseño. It's a count now even at 2-2.
To be honest with you, not a bad hack.
Not a bad hack at all. Has a very solid swing. Only issue is just making contact with the ball.
There was a Barnstormers reliever earlier this year that hit a home run. We mentioned the limited depth for Southern Maryland at this moment. Last night, Matt Latos was a pinch hitter. He was on deck when the game ended, but it would have been something to see.
And a foul ball over to the right side near the York dugout for Briseño. He's got himself a decent at-bat so far.
And I'd like to put some emphasis on what I just said if I didn't say it clearly enough. He didn't just hit in his own spot. He was going to pinch hit for a different pitcher. So pretty unique stuff.
I wasn't able to watch the game last night, but I want to know what events led up to Matt Latos being the pinch hitter of choice. And ball 4 inside as Andres Briseño gets on with a walk.
And he hears it from the crowd and more specifically his own dugout. As a opposing pitcher, the last thing in the world that you want to see is your counterpart reaching base on balls.
Jake Lucci now coming to the plate here for the Blue Crabs. There was one out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Lucci grounded out to the first baseman Castro back in the 2nd inning. And in that big 3rd inning, had the line drive that bounced off of Steinfurt's glove. Ended up plating a run. As he sees that first pitch for ball 1.
To finish my point from earlier, before we got really excited, deservingly so, about Andres Briseño batting. As a foul ball gets out of play, Rodriguez on the mound has had a very different problem than the first 2 arms that we saw for the Revs today. The first 2 walked batters at a very high rate. Rodriguez, on the other hand, doesn't walk a ton of batters, but he allows a ton of hits. Opponents are hitting over 300 against him on the season.
You know, you normally see one of these pitchers with those double-digit strikeouts. Good line on him so far, but as you said, other teams just seem to be able to figure it out and string some hits together against him. Jake Lucci fouls that one off. Count now goes to 1-2.
It's a short little homestand for Southern Maryland after a 9-game road trip. The Blue Crabs here for 4 games. Of course, a doubleheader today is rescheduled from a rainout on June 10th.
The 1-2 pitch from Rodriguez. That one's lifted down the left field line. That ball is going to carry a little bit, and that ball is going to hit off the top of the wall. Brisano is going to come around. He's going to stay at third base. And Lucci was about 8 inches away from putting that ball out of here and giving the Blue Crabs a 2-run lead as he smacks that ball off the Southern Maryland Blue Crab sign over in the Mini Monster in left field.
That was something to see with Endris Briseño over there at third. Of course, it's important to remind you why it is that Endris Briseño is even batting or on bases for that matter. The Atlantic League and the MLB are in a partnership in which we test rule changes, one of them being that the starting pitcher, when he's taken out, when he's replaced by the reliever, that reliever goes into the designated hitter spot. It's a little bit of a confusing rule, but one that has the efforts of making starters go longer.
The Revolution infield in now as that first pitch to Jake Marshall was a strike. Just one out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jake Marshall is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and the walk today. Up at the plate. As you said, Lucci has a good amount of speed on second base. Base hit to the outfield would surely bring him in. That pitch low and outside for ball 1.
And you know, this 7-8-9 of the Blue Crabs batting order has come up in the most important of times throughout this contest. It's the second time we've had 2 in scoring position.
The 1-1 pitch. Looked to be a changeup as Marshall was ahead on that one. Able to foul it off, but the count goes to 1-2.
Infield in and shifted to the pull side of the right-handed hitting catcher Jake Marshall. Even a dribbler up the middle that gets past the pitcher would almost certainly score 2.
It was the 1-2 pitch. Another big swing from Marshall as he swings through the off-speed pitch. Now there is 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Still 2 runners on in scoring position.
A critical at-bat here for Will Decker.
And Ray Ortega, the hitting coach, says that might have been a 2-2 count, but the home plate umpire is pretty certain of it, as there's now 2 outs away. That brings up Will Decker, who's 0 for 2 on the day so far. Looking to bring these Blue Crabs in from scoring position. First pitch swinging, swings right through the off speed. As his count now is 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Rodriguez. Another big swing as he fouls that one off.
Last time Decker was up to the plate, there was bases loaded for Southern Maryland. 1 run came in to score while Decker was at bat. It was Josh McAdams on a wild pitch from Austin Steinfurt in his last inning of work, but left 2 on in that frame, so you'd really like to see him bring a pair home, especially in a tie ball game.
You know, having that clutch factor really adds to your abilities, which could put you into this starting lineup full time. As we talked about, we haven't seen him in this starting lineup a bunch recently. That pitch going to be low and outside for ball 1. Count now 1-2.
Really good eye there by Will Decker. And, of course, you know, an anxious look back to the home plate umpire to see if it was a strike.
It was the 1-2 pitch. Another big swing. It was a check swing. Looks to break the bat. As that one gets fouled off to the left side. Count's going to stay at 1-2.
Going through the pitching matchups in this 4-game series. Of course, Austin Gloria started Game 1. Austin Steinfurt on the other side. In Game 2, the Blue Crabs will put the right-hander Colton Mahoney on the mound to face off against a fellow right-hander Bruce Bell. Tomorrow, 6:35, a fireworks night. Sam Burton takes the mound, playing host to Jake Welch. On Sunday in the series finale, the Blue Crabs will put Daryl Thompson on the mound. The Revs have yet to announce their starter in that game, but we'll get you that name as soon as we have it. Of course, when a doubleheader is thrown into a mix, it's always a scramble, or not a scramble, but it's a decision to find out who you're going to put in that sixth spot in the rotation.
And the 1-2 pitch going to be fouled off by Will Decker once again. Count stays at 1-2 here with 2 runners on in scoring position and 2 out to the bottom of the 5th inning. York out hitting the Blue Crabs by just a single hit, 5 hits to 4. Score is tied 4 apiece here. And a big swing from Decker as he rips that one down the right field line. Looked like it was going foul. And that's what they're going to call it as Will Decker gets another chance in that bet.
Edris Briseño in the meanwhile has spent most likely more time on the base paths in this inning than he ever has in his professional career. Now, that's just an assumption, but, you know, especially being a career minor leaguer in the affiliated minor leagues, pitchers hit, of course, even more infrequently than they do at the major league level.
And a good eye again from Decker. That breaking ball on the outer half of the plate stays outside, and the count runs even at 2-2.
That one a little too close for comfort, but a really good eye by Will Decker.
Rodriguez looking for this 3rd strike so they can get out of this situation. Was the pitch. And a big swing from Decker as that one's roped into right field. And they're going to say the catch is made by the right fielder, Encarnacion.
A beautiful diving play there by the right fielder. Wow. I mean, that is a shot in the heart if you're Southern Maryland.
And that's how the bottom of the 5th inning ends. Blue Crabs leave 2 runners in scoring position as we head into the top of the 6th inning, tied 4 apiece here. Please stay tuned to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We'll be right back.
This is Ryan Caparese, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
American Radiology is the clear choice for all of your medical imaging needs. With locations in Charles and Calvert counties, they offer a full range of imaging services. Some of their latest innovations included 3D mammography and wide-open MRIs for our claustrophobic patients. For your convenience, they even offer extended weekday hours and Saturdays. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at AmericanRadiology.com. 2020 was a year unlike any other for everybody. Quickly, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs came to the realization that baseball must take a backseat to humanity. Immediately, the Blue Crabs staff and all of Crustacean Nation teamed together to provide COVID-19 tests and eventually vaccinations. Southern Maryland's hometown team also hosted food drives, blood drives, backpack drives, toy drives, and so much more, all to help their community. The Blue Crabs couldn't be more thankful to the healthcare heroes that have gotten us to this point and helped our community so much throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. That's why this season is dedicated to our healthcare heroes. Each Saturday night, we will have a healthcare hero, a local healthcare professional, throw out the first pitch of the game and be honored. That's why in 2021, all season long, healthcare professionals get $5 tickets to every single Blue Crabs game. Thank you so much, healthcare heroes, for all that you have, are, and will continue to do for our community.
tough pill to swallow if you're Southern Maryland to end the bottom of the fifth. A hard-fought at-bat by Blue Crabs right fielder Will Decker led to a line shot to the right side, but a diving play by J.C. Encarnacion stole 2 runs from Southern Maryland, leaving the score at 4-4. Andres Braceno takes the mound once more for Southern Maryland, having used a little bit more energy than the average Atlantic League pitcher does in any given inning. Of course, he led off the inning for Southern Maryland offensively. Finds himself now, after a long inning of base running, finally back where he belongs on the mound. He's a guy that dominates when he's out there on the mound, but certainly out of his element, as any Atlantic League pitcher would be when not on the mound. You know, Braceno, something that's certainly worthy of mention, is that we talk about most of these guys having a year off. As a check down to first, yes, he did, strike number 2. But Braceno, on the other hand, had 2 years off. Last played professional baseball in 2018 as a member of the Detroit Tigers organization. Took the 2019 and 2020 seasons off. Has been dominant in his return to professional baseball. Fastball outside edge, strike 3 looking. Beautiful pitch from Andres Braceno that sneaks into the outside edge of the strike zone. Strike 3 to James Harris.
That was an absolute beautiful two-seamer there by Braceno. As you said, that ball really just snuck in on that outer half of the strike zone for strike 3.
You hear tons of noisemakers in the crowd here tonight, so anything you may hear is not a technical difficulty. In fact, it's whistles, cowbells, you name it. Strike 1 crosses the outer edge to John Sansone looking. The third baseman wears number 20 on the back of his gray hometown York jersey. Those city-inspired uniforms the Revs are rocking tonight, I gotta say, look awfully good. I'm a big fan.
Same here. I'm a big fan of the black and yellow colorway, and I like the way they use that gray on their uniforms. I think it looks really good.
Braceno's pitch, high and away, ball called by the home plate umpire. 2 balls and a strike the count. Of course, Stevie, as you know, only one team rocks the black and yellow, or should I say black and gold, better than anybody. Can you name that team? Of course it's the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Nope, I'm not going to get – I wasn't going to answer. I wasn't going to give you the satisfaction of bringing up that team.
The best team in the best conference in America, some would say.
I think you say that.
I mean, some, it implies more than one. And I think that myself and maybe one other person that lives, breathes, and walks this earth might agree with me, but
I'll give you that. I'll give you and at least one other person.
For the most part, I'm in the outlier when it comes to that belief, but nonetheless, the count runs to 3 balls, 2 strikes. It's always fun being a Big Ten fan out here in Big Ten, not necessarily Big Ten country, but Maryland, of course, a member of the Big Ten now. Ball 4 high and away. As the first rev of this 6th inning will reach, you know, Stevie, the Iowa Hawkeyes will be in College Park playing against the Terps in football this season.
You know, you and I might have to go.
I already have tickets.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no, I've had them for some time. I've had them since the schedule release. But that would be a lot of fun if you came. We're far enough in advance that I think we could make something work. Hopefully. I guess I don't know how popular Terps football tickets are, as number 20 John Sansone swipes second base as Jake Marshall bobbles the ball on the transfer.
You know, I wouldn't assume Maryland football tickets would be extremely expensive because we are not very good.
Expecting a win on that night out of my Hawkeyes, hopefully. Braceno with a runner in scoring position. That represents the go-ahead run in this contest. Of course, running back through the scoring that we've seen to this point in the ballgame, The Revs put up 2 runs immediately right out of the gates off of Austin Glorious. They scored 2 runs on a Jan Sanchez home run. The Blue Crabs came back with a vengeance in the bottom of the 3rd and started with a Zach Collier 2-run home run and was finished with another pair. Soft dribbler to the left side. Tough play from Michael Baca across his body on the run. What a play by the shortstop, Michael Baca, making it look easy.
And in a play that looked like it was going to be an infield base hit. Nice job by Baca, able to come in and barehand that ball. Just perfectly executed barehanded slow roller for the out.
I mean, there is a ton of reasons why that play was astronomically harder than it looked. I mean, just to run through a couple. 1, it was going to be a tight play no matter what. It was very weakly hit. And probably the most important is that it was right on that lip between the grass and the dirt. That's not an easy play. And, of course, he fielded it barehanded.
Yeah, nice play there by Baca.
Strike 1 on a foul ball to the right side. Number 12, Walner Espinal at the plate. The second baseman wears number 12 on the back of his gray and yellow jersey. Briseño gets his sign from Jake Marshall. The pitch. High, swung on and missed by Espinal. And a really good job by Andres Briseño after the leadoff man gets on to work the count to 0-2 here.
Briseño really utilizing that fastball this inning as he's able to really just blow it by these Revolution batters.
Curveball, outside corner, strike 3 swinging. What an inning by Andres Briseño. Really dating back to the bottom of the 5th. The right-handed reliever spent about 15 minutes on the base paths after reaching on a walk. Then he fans a couple of revs to bring us into the bottom of the 6th. We're knotted at 4 here at Regency Furniture Stadium. We've already hit that magic number, Stevie, that we mentioned at the top of the broadcast. Of course, the Blue Crabs, when scoring 4 or more runs this season, are 10-3. Let's see if they can keep that run going when we return on the other end of this break, right here on your home for Blue Crabs baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Austin Glorious, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Through October of 2021, COVID-19 vaccinations are offered right here at Regency Furniture Stadium. No appointment necessary. Just swing on by and get your COVID-19 vaccination today. Take one for the team, Southern Maryland. Get the vaccine. Dyson Building Center is one of the oldest family-owned and operated hardware, lumber, and building supply stores in Southern Maryland. They are located in St. Mary's County on Route 5 in Great Mills. Dyson's has an expansive and diverse inventory to help you with all of your home improvement and project needs. Whether you're new to the world of DIY, a tried and true DIY professional, or somewhere in between, the friendly and experienced staff at Dyson Building Center is ready and willing to help you today.
This is Blake Bivens, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Into the top of the 6th we go here at Regency Furniture Stadium, as Blake Bivens welcomes us into this bottom of the 6th inning. A new arm comes onto the mound for the York Revolution. It's Brandon Fry. A southpaw comes in with a really good resume under his belt. In particular, in the last 2 seasons, he's been unbelievable. The left-hander had a 3.34 ERA in 2019 as a member of the New Britain Bees. This year, he's been even better. 1-1 record with a 2.45 ERA. Has appeared in 13 games, just under 15 innings. The one flaw on Fry that you'll find is that he doesn't strike out all that many batters, but, just ask Daryl Thompson, although he does strike out a ton of batters. He always tells you that he's not trying to strike people out. He pitches to contact. Corners in for Kent Blackstone as the first pitch he sees from Brandon Fry misses outside. The count 1-0. Top of the order here for Southern Maryland in a tie 4-4 ball game. In the top of the 7th, the Revolution will send up the top of their order, so critical to put some runs on the board.
Another thing you've talked about, Andrew, besides the fact that they need to score at least 4 runs normally to secure a win for this team, something that the Blue Crabs have had trouble with is letting up that big inning. They have the Revs at the plate. So far, they haven't done it this game. See if they can hold on and bring a couple runners across in the later innings.
Blackstone flares one to center field. Darian Sanford has a read on it. Jogs to his left in a couple steps, catches it for out number 1. Are you at all surprised to see Matt Latos warming in the Blue Crabs bullpen?
No, I'm not, because at this point of the game, I think that's a solid move for Daryl Thompson. Put your closer in the game in maybe not necessarily hopes, but you have enough trust in your lineup that they'll put 1 or 2 across and you can bring them in to close out the game.
I agree. I like the move a lot, especially in a game you'd, of course, really like to win. Fry's first pitch to Michael Baca, fouled back into the Roy Rogers backstop padding for strike number 1. Some really nice baseball weather. Stevie, I was thinking about it in these last couple days. I mean, after the scorching hot homestand that we had last time, the Blue Crabs were home. In these last couple days, I've been thinking it was perfect baseball weather, and honestly, today is pretty perfect baseball weather as well.
Very nice. Seems to be like mid to high 70s. Nice little breeze here in the evening. It's beautiful outside.
Currently 78 degrees outside, a 7-mile-an-hour wind. The time right now, 7:28. Time and temperature brought to you by AF Zabo, as always. As Baca fouls off another pitch. We brought up a couple of MLB games earlier. I only think it's fair to update you on those. Aaron Nola struck out 12 batters in 5 1/3. Got into a little bit of trouble in the 6th. Allowed runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out and was relieved. The reliever got Nola off the hook for those runs. So he finishes with 12 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings. Struck out 10 consecutive batters. First time that's happened at the MLB level since 1970.
Wow.
Tom Seaver was the one to do that back in 1970. As Tyler Hill is working hard back behind the plate to keep baseballs in front of him as the count runs even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We also brought up Corbin Burns having a no-hitter for the Brewers. Not sure if it was me that jinxed him, but he no longer has that no-hitter. Well struck to the left center power alley. Darian Sanford, of course, making it look easy, as he tends to do whenever he needs to range really any distance. Probably a really tough catch for your average outfielder, but again, making it look easy is Darian Sanford. And that brings up Zach Collier.
I've had a couple moments so far in this game, especially on Collier's last swing as well, as we talked about. Had a home run in this game and then put one right up against that Meridian sign in left center field. You get really excited when you see balls hit really far into the gap, and then you remember who's playing center field.
It's true. It's true, and especially as a pitcher, that's easily the best feeling you could think of. Speaking of bests, if you're Stan Clyburn, best case scenario is having Zach Collier and Alex Crosby on the docket for you right now. Of course, 2 down, none on here in the bottom of the 6th, but Collier and Crosby each riding 10-game hit streaks that they extended earlier in this contest. Collier hit a 2-run home run to right field in a 4-run 3rd inning for the Blue Crabs. It's a lot of numbers. I wasn't a math major for a reason, keeping track of these numbers. Although I must say I do enjoy it as Collier swings over a curveball.
It's fun to keep track of numbers when it's like stats and like sports-related stuff. You tell me anything about geometry or calculus,
Yeah.
I'm not going to have any fun with that.
That's true.
I haven't taken a class since my first semester of college.
Wow. Yeah, no, I haven't either, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say wow.
Communications majors.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
You don't. Left on left matchup. Fry comes set. The look. He's got his sign. Here comes the pitch. Off the outer edge, or so it looked. The electronic umpire rings up Zach Collier. And that's how we get through 6 innings of baseball here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. When we come back, Matt Latos on the mound for the Blue Crabs and the top of the Revolution lineup right here on your home for Blue Crabs baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
In February of 2020, Regency Furniture Stadium and the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs were given what we view as an honor, being named the 4th mass vaccination site in the state of Maryland. Here's a message from Regency Furniture about the honor that it has been and still is to be one of Maryland's mass vaccination sites, getting our community back to safety.
During these times of uncertainty, it helps to know there are things we can control to help ourselves and others.
For me, it presents the hope that soon enough, my friends and family will be together again.
We just want to take this moment to thank the Maryland National Guard for their support in helping to facilitate and manage the vaccinations here at the Regency Furniture Stadium. We just think it's so important for everyone to do their part, and we're just grateful for their support.
Thank you for your support, and we're just honored to be a part of the vaccination effort out here and to serve the community.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson and the whole team, trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289.
This is Kent Blackstone, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
A longtime MLB veteran comes onto the mound to keep things even. Or at least that's the intention for Matt Latos, who, to no surprise, has been fantastic here in this 2021 season. He's a guy that has had many awards over the course of his career. In the Atlantic League, in his only season here, he was named the reliever of the year in addition to playing in the All-Star game that was actually at Peoples Bank Park, the home of the York Revolution. First pitch from Latos misses outside. I think he thought it was a strike. I would tend to agree, but nonetheless, the count 1-0.
It looked like that ball would have caught the outer half of the plate. As you said, can't really argue against the robo umpire.
Next pitch from Latos.
And as you said, Latos, a guy that normally comes in for the saves here in this Blue Crabs team as he comes in with a tie ball game.
I like the decision by Stan Clyburn as Darian Sanford waves and fouls one to the left side, but Every game very important, especially when you're on a hot streak, as the Blue Crabs are. 7-2 in their last 9 games. Had won 7 of 8 at a point. Sanford with tremendous speed. The bunt probably out of the equation, but you never know. 2 strikes from Latos. Here comes the pitch. A swing and a miss. Darian Sanford slowly walks down in the general vicinity of first base. I don't know that he necessarily was trying to get there, but nonetheless, a strikeout for Matt Latos, just what the doctor ordered. But, you know, we talk about this decision to bring out Latos, and, you know, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Stevie, that it just makes sense. Of course, if you want to keep the game tied, who better to bring out than a former Cy Young candidate and the reigning Atlantic League reliever of the year, Matt Latos. Latos with a long set. The pitch on its way to Jan Sanchez, who appears as though he's looking until he gets a strike, and Latos gave it to him right away. Cutter on the outer edge, called strike number 1.
You know, it was a good idea, and I mean, both of our opinions to bring Latos out here, but I kind of like the idea. You could have brought Briseño back out here because that DH spot didn't come back up in the lineup in that inning. Let's see, leave him back out in the game and bring Matt Latos back out if you guys went to extras, but overall, as you said, I like the idea.
Latos on his way home with the pitch. Off speed, swung on and missed, and you know, it raises an interesting point because I agree with you, but at the same time, if you leave Briseño out there, that means that A, you either have to let him hit again, or B, you bring in a pinch hitter, which burns somebody off of your already not very deep bench right now due to injuries. And then you'd be out of a pinch hitter for the rest of the game, but Matt Latos is making this York Revolution lineup he's going through this York Revolution lineup with ease. Stevie, it's Moneyball night here at Regency Furniture Stadium. In addition, it's Fire and EMS Appreciation Night. After the game, we're going to have a helicopter come and fly over the field, drop hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands. I don't have a specific count, but a ton of tennis balls. How about that?
I'll tell you, it'll be at least 10.
Enough to make a dog have a panic attack, which nobody would ever like to see.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I just welcomed a new puppy into my family. Slugger is his name. Of course, a baseball-related name, but he is an adorable little guy. Stevie, I know you've had the, hopefully, pleasure of meeting him.
He's my best friend.
Well, there you go.
In case you didn't know.
I did not know.
We're boys.
He told me that. I just didn't know if you agreed.
No, I agreed. It was a mutual agreement. We decided on that the other day.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you have some friends, as Carlos Castro.
I'm so upset.
Yeah, I was totally kidding. Probably uncalled for. Stevie's about the most popular guy, and I say that without joking, that you're ever going to meet. I mean, Stevie's one of those guys you'll go out in public with, and 9 out of 10 people you see are going to be like, Stevie, how are you? So completely a joke.
You know, that's what happens when you grow up in Southern Maryland. Not many people, and you tend to know all of them.
Latos gets Carlos Castro to foul one back onto the roof above our heads in the Bayonet press box. Not a ton of hits in this ball game. Just 9 combined have given us 8 total runs. Latos trying to give the Blue Crabs the opportunity to keep things tied heading into the bottom of the final inning of regulation play. Of course, I hate to even bring this up, but it does feel necessary that, you know, Southern Maryland does have somewhat of a trend of sending the first game of doubleheaders into lengthy contests. Last year we had a 17-inning game that, in my opinion, was A, fun, but B, worth it, because we walked it off in the 17th inning. There was another 17-inning game in 2018 that was also walked off, that by Frank Martinez. Yet another off-speed pitch, yet another strikeout. The MLB veteran Matt Latos has Carlos Castro unhappy, and deservingly so, because Latos comes up against the heart of the order for the York Revolution, strikes him out in order. When we come back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network, it's go time right here at Regency Furniture Stadium. 4-4 the score as we take you into the bottom of the 7th right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Will Decker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs! Hey Blue Crabs fans, make sure to visit the All-American Steakhouse and Sports Theater at 35 St. Patrick's Drive, right here in Waldorf, for some great food with great friends. Their steaks are fresh, hand-cut, in-house daily, as well as many other fresh seafood, chicken, and beef options. They offer outdoor and indoor dining, available each and every day, along with the same great menu to go if you would like. Please visit them online at www.theallamericansteakhouse.com. That's www.theallamericansteakhouse.com. You can also visit them on Facebook or Instagram. They have daily specials that you just can't pass up. Thank you, Blue Crabs fans. Into the bottom of the 7th we go, right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Andrew Banstra alongside Stevie Bowen as we take you in to crunch time here in Southern Maryland. 4-5-6 due up for the Blue Crabs. They'll face off against a newcomer into this contest, Victor Capion. His first pitch inside and low, 1-0 the count. Capion has appeared in 2 games this season, has not allowed a run in either of them. Crowd getting loud as they're looking for some late inning magic. That's been a theme of late for Southern Maryland. In the midst of that 7-2 stretch for the Blue Crabs, they had 2 truly astonishing comebacks. They were down by 4 or more runs in the 7th inning or later. Came back both times to win a season series, make that their first series of the season against the High Point Rockers. Capion misses downstairs, 3 balls, no strikes, the count to Crosby.
Crosby just 1 for 3 on the day so far with that base hit coming back in the 3rd. As he has a strikeout and then a ground out to the second baseman so far today.
Capion gets one across. The count, 3 balls and a strike. Capion with the hitter's count incoming. The pitch to Crosby. Looked to be a little inside, but right on the corner, and now the count runs full at 3-2. If you're the Blue Crabs and Stan Clyburn, it is of the utmost importance to get your leadoff man on.
You know, that was a nice pitch there by Capillon. The same pitch we saw from Andres Briseño as he was just able to sneak that ball in there on the inner half of the strike zone.
The 3-2 on its way. A beautiful off-speed pitch. Not a ton you can do with that. It was a gutsy pitch to throw by Capillon. Of course, the last thing you want to do is allow somebody to get on base freely, but he takes the risk, places it perfectly, and if you're Alex Crosby, all you can do is tip your cap. That's a fantastic 3-2 pitch.
A great job battling back, as you said. Had him in a 3-1 count. Able to get that inside two-seamer like we talked about across the plate and just blowing him away with that breaking ball.
A look across the league right now. In Gastonia, the Honey Hunters on top of the Long Island Ducks 5-1. As Josh McAdams sends one to left field. Bye-bye baseball. See you later. A walk-off home run for Josh McAdams as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs send the York Revolution into Game 2.
Josh McAdams, first pitch swinging. I don't think he's gotten better contact on a ball this season as that ball absolutely shot off of that bat. And rightfully so, the Blue Crabs are freaking out at home plate. That was an amazing sight to see.
The dog pile at home plate as Josh McAdams sends one into the next universe. A no-doubt walk-off home run. The left fielder, James Harris, had no choice but to watch that one sail as Southern Maryland advances to 12-13 on the year. What a play, what a game, Stevie. Wow. Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
That was a very clean game of baseball. 7 innings of, I mean, obviously as a Blue Crabs fan, enjoyable baseball to watch. But
you know, that's a good way of putting it, too. Not just because, obviously, we're Blue Crabs fans. That was just a fun game of baseball to watch. We saw 3 home runs that game. That's always fun.
It is. I mean, that's fun for everybody involved, especially the fans.
Exactly.
Final lines in this contest because we got to get going, and I say that only because we got another game to broadcast in a couple of minutes. 5-4, the Blue Crabs win. 5 hits for either side. How about 3 of the 10 hits being home runs, as you mentioned? What a game for your Blue Crabs, who advanced to 12-13. The Revs fall to 11-14 on the year. We will step aside for about 30 minutes when we return. More Blue Crabs baseball on your home for Blue Crabs baseball, the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.